I don't have my demo save, so we're starting fresh 100%. I think this would be good for those who have not seen me play the demo, that I'm starting fresh 100%, being that we're all going to experience this together if you haven't played this. Let's give this a shot and see where it goes. The hero and the princess. Okay.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess.
Okay.
You're here to slay her. If you don't, it will be the end of the world.
I mean, does it... Like, what are you talking about?
I'm talking about the end of everything as we know it. No more birds, no more trees, and perhaps most problematically of all, no more people. You have to put an end to her.
Okay. Let's see. But how can a princess locked away in a basement in the world? If I'm not going to kill her. Do you have any evidence to back this up? Have you considered that maybe the only reason it's going to end is because she's locked up? Killing a princess seems kind of bad, though. Can someone else do this? Forget it, I'm not doing this. Have you considered maybe that I'm okay with the world ending? Do I get something rewarded in this? Look, I'll go into the cabin, I'll talk to her, and maybe I'll slay her. I do not committing to anything else. I have a chance to meet her face to face. I'm sold. Let's get this over with. Oh my god. It's really... That's... Okay, hold on. Wait. Yeah, do you have any evidence to back this up?
Look, you're already on the path that leads to the cabin. Why would you be here if it weren't to complete a very important task? You've made it this far, you might as well reach the end of your journey.
The problem with this journey is that we're starting in the midst toward the end of the journey without realizing the context of why we started the journey to begin with. If we have no knowledge of why we started this journey to begin with, how can you logically say that this is actually the goal that we were meant to do, rather than, you know, you being like some sort of malevolent entity trying to twist the story we were originally on of saving the princess into slaying the princess? You know, semantics. But yeah, how can a princess locked away in a basement end the world?
Don't linger on the specifics. You have a job to do here. Just get in there and do what needs to be done. We're all counting on you.
We? We? Who is we? Who is we? Yeah. Have you considered that maybe the only reason she's ending the world is because she got locked up? Like, I mean, that's kind of like, I'd be kind of pissed off at the world too if I was locked up for like the beginning of my life or whatever, how long she's been locked up.
While I appreciate the mental exercise, we are running up against a bit of a ticking clock. Nevertheless, let me assure you, the princess is locked up because she's dangerous. She is not dangerous because she's locked up. And before you decide to waste even more of our time by asking how I know that, let me suggest a more pragmatic lens through which to view this situation.
Go for it, my dude.
Causality doesn't matter here, because the end result is the same no matter what led us up to this point. If the princess leaves the cabin, the world will end, and there is no changing that.
This is where I think I remember mentioning in my demo run-through the big question of, what is the world, then? Is this world an actual physical manifestation of the world like that our characters live in? Like, she's actually a princess, we're actually a hero, and this is like some sort of magical kingdom of some kind where the princess is like some sort of like cursed figure and all that stuff, where she like carries a plague or something like that? Or is the world like a story? Is this world more of like a story tale? Like, because, you know, like once you hit happily ever after or wherever the ending may be, stories typically end, like worlds of the story end with the last page of a book or the happily ever after notation. So is it a real world, as in like she's a walking ticking time bomb that will literally explode and kill the world? Or is it the end of the story happily ever after, and thus rendering the narrator completely useless because the narrator's job and essentially existence ends when the world ends? That's the big question I have. So yeah.
It's no use arguing semantics over a metaphorical chicken or egg, because the egg is hatched and it's about to ruin everything.
So are we insinuating then that the egg came first?
Unless, of course, you do your job and slay her.
I guess there's no point in arguing with it. Like, look, I'll go into the cabin and I'll talk to her, and if maybe if she's bad as you say she is, then maybe I'll slay her, but I'm not committing to anything until I've had a chance to meet her face to face.
Then I guess we'll just have to see what happens. But a word of warning. If you go in prepared to hear her out, she could easily trap you in her web of lies.
Assuming she's a liar.
And the more you listen to her honeyed words, the harder it'll be to pull yourself out.
Assuming that she's lying and she's just not just some random princess.
Then each and every one of us is doomed.
Hey, kitty.
So sure, go, talk to her. See how that turns out for all of us.
Okay.
You make your way up the short path to the cabin. You'll find the princess within.
Why is the princess in a cabin and not like some sort of like castle dungeon?
We're not going to go through with this, right? She's a princess. We're supposed to save princesses, not slay them.
I agree with you.
Ignore him. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well, like, obviously he's more of the empathetic side of understanding that a life is a life and not just randomly killing people without any sort of precedent as to why.
The interior of the cabin is almost entirely bare. The air is stale and musty, and the floor and walls are painted in a fine layer of dust. The only furniture of note is a plain wooden table. Perched on that table is a pristine blade.
I love how the blade is just kind of like, hello, I'm here.
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
Well, here's the thing. Why am I not armed before coming to the cabin? That, again, context of why I'm in this world and where I am in this storyline is the biggest question for me. If I am some sort of hero, if I'm some sort of, like, warrior figure, why am I not already armed before even coming in here? Why do I need an arbitrary blade that is just sitting in the middle of this cabin to slay a princess that I have no idea is evil or not? That's the biggest question. If that's the case, wouldn't the world end anyway? After all, she died, the story would end too. Yeah, exactly. I'm just like, what is the point here? What is the point here? We had a good Christmas. We hung out with family, and we watched a couple of movies, and we just kind of vibed. No, we don't need it. We don't need it. Get out of my face.
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing a staircase faintly illuminated by an unseen light in the room below. This is an oppressive place. The air feels heavy and damp, a hint of rot filtering from the ancient wood. If the princess really lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor.
I mean, whoever locked her in here is kind of an asshole. We're just leaving her in a rot-filled, like, basement in a cabin in the middle of the forest on a hill. It's like, I mean, I'd want to destroy the world too if I was locked in here.
Her voice softly carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
Hi.
It's hypnotizing. It's the kind of voice you only have to hear once to remember it for the rest of your life. Don't let it fool you. It's all part of the manipulation. You're playing a dangerous game by coming here unarmed.
Hi.
Don't be a stranger. It's been so long since I've had any visitors. Please, come downstairs.
Okay.
You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall of the basement. She's beautiful. How could someone like this be a threat to anyone?
She's not a threat to anyone. Like, literally, what can she do? If she wanted to do something, she would have done it by now.
I am begging you to stay focused. There's a lot riding on you here.
Nah.
Hi. Do you think you can get me out of these chains?
I would love to if I had the key, sweetheart. Yeah, let's take a look and let's see what's going on here.
You're only making this more difficult.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're making a huge mistake.
I'm just looking.
No, you're doing the right thing. You walk up to the chains binding the princess to the wall and give them a tug. They're large and heavy, far too solid for you to even imagine trying to break them apart.
I did not voice in this game. MKU, I did not voice in this game. I wish I had the pleasure.
I'm guessing you don't have the key?
Maybe it's somewhere upstairs. Doubtful. Whoever locked the princess away down here intended for her to never see the light of day. They wouldn't have just left the key to her chains somewhere in the cabin.
If there isn't a key, do you have any other ideas? Let's see. I'm going to check upstairs. Maybe the keys are lying around up there somewhere. If not, I can at least find something to break. Yeah. Let's see if it's up those stairs.
Okay. I'll be here. Good luck.
All right.
You attempt to make your way out of the basement, but the door at the top of the stairs slams shut.
Great.
You hear the click of a lock sliding into place.
Well, you're an asshole, aren't you?
Is someone else here?
Go try the door.
You try the door, but it's locked from the outside.
Kick it in! There's no point in yelling. Pretty sure there was a narrator being an asshole.
You make your way to the bottom of the stairs. This would have been so much easier if you'd just taken the blade like you were supposed to.
But what do you mean I'm supposed to? That insinuates that my job actually is to kill the princess, but then you would have given me the context as to why I got the mission in the first place.
Easier for whom? Easier for everyone. Look at the mess you're in.
This is not necessarily a mess other than you just putting me into a mess. Hi, sweetheart.
I heard the door slam. They locked you down here too, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a slight panic rising in the princess's voice.
If I could just get out of these chains, I know we could force our way out of here together.
100%.
She
Jesus Christ!
hesitates before raising her arm to her mouth, her teeth tearing through her limb with the determination of a trapped wolf. As she rips her flesh from her bone, a sound comes from behind you, the clang of bouncing metal. It's the blade from upstairs. You're not sure how it made its way down here, but if there's a time to strike, it's now. Or we could use it to free her. You won't like what happens if you do that.
You know, fuck you, I'm gonna try it. I'll save her.
Fine. Against your better judgment, you place the blade against the ragged, self-inflicted wound on the princess's arm, just above the unyielding chain binding her to this place. You cut into her flesh. The blade is sharp, and it takes little effort to crack through the bone of her arm.
Jesus.
Her limb falls to the ground, and the heavy chains follow suit. She didn't so much as utter a sound through the whole ordeal.
This princess is clearly more than a princess. But then again, that's kind of on us for insinuating every princess is this little oh, Prince Charming, come rescue me, princess in a tower bullshit. It's one of those things where it's just kind of not every princess is a hoity-toity little damsel. There are princesses who are strong.
No, she didn't. She smiles softly as her gaze meets yours, blood from her wounded arm dripping rhythmically to the ground.
Sweetie, just because I have a little bit of a medicinal background, do you mind if we tear a little bit of your dress and, be able to bind and cover that wound so that way it doesn't get infected?
How is she still smiling after everything? It's like she isn't even bothered by what just happened.
Well, yeah, she's escaping at this point. I think anyone at that point would be like, yeah, fuck the pain, I'm getting out of here.
Thank you. Now let's get out of here.
Come on. Yep, let's go.
No, we won't have any of that. The stakes are too high. You can't just let her escape into the world. No, I can't just let her escape into the world.
And that's why you're a problem.
As the princess approaches the bottom stair, your body steps forward and raises the blade. Wait, this isn't fair. You can't just do that. Watch me.
What are you doing?
Nope.
Stop that.
I love the mouse has changed to a blade. You got a little tiny blade here.
Something's come over you, hasn't it? You know you don't have to do this, right?
Well, that's why I'm trying to, figure out a way to combat the narrator.
Your body lunges forward, the blade held low, ready to sink into her heart. But the princess dodges, stumbling back against the wall before the blade has a chance to connect. Stop it. Stop trying to resist me. I'm trying to get you out of here alive.
We could get out of here alive if you just open the door and let us go. Ah, perfect.
The blade. Move the blade. As your body remains frozen in stubborn resistance, the princess takes a cautious step forward.
We both know this isn't you.
You just met me, sweetheart. I understand that I'm a little bit of a psychopath right now, but I'm pretty sure you can handle it, right? You managed to chomp through your own arm. You can handle, like, running and escaping, right?
She nervously reaches towards you and takes the blade from your infuriatingly rigid hands. What are you doing?
Also, it's quite interesting to see the hero have, like, a almost dragon demonic-like hand. Are we the dragon in this situation? Question mark?
I'm sorry. I'll try to be quick.
She plunges it into your chest, tearing through flesh and sinew. It is agony. But you aren't dead yet.
Oh no, I'm so sorry.
Stay strong. We can tough it out until it's done. For her sake. For her sake? Don't you start pretending that dying a painful death is some sort of heroic gesture. The two of you have literally doomed everyone.
From what?
Whatever. She sinks the blade into your chest again and again and again, and you feel every inch of burning pain that slices its way into your body.
I'm sorry.
Nah, honey, you got it.
She doesn't know how to use a knife, does she? Apparently not, though it doesn't matter how sloppy her knife work is, does it? A stab wound is still a stab wound, and it won't be long before you bleed out.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
With one last thrust of the knife, your legs give out beneath you. You collapse to the floor, your blood pooling around you, your limbs unresponsive. The princess stares down at your ruined chest as tears carve rivulets of pink down her blood-spattered cheeks.
And I mean, we could have survived if narrator you just let us go. I mean, just like, bruh, I mean, it's either you want me dead or her dead, and it was just like, it's gonna be one or the other. And I mean, like, she is proven at this point a little, like, carnalistic, but incompetent in such a way. I mean, like, there could be a connection to be made, the fact that she tried to gnaw her arm off, instead of, like, you know, just waiting until we could figure out how to weasel her arm out of the chain or something like that. Narrator just wants violence straight up.
It can't just end like this, right? Oh, that's rich coming from you. As much as I prefer for things to have gone differently, I can't deny the reality of what's happened. The two of you made your choice. It's over. Everything goes dark. And you die.
But now you have the knife where you can start, like, cutting through that door and escaping, sweetheart. Chapter 2, the damsel. Okay. Oh, so we straight up died. Okay, cool.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin. And in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her.
You bastard, you're in for it now. I'm wise to your tricks. No, yeah, 100%. You're a fuckwit.
My tricks? What on earth are you talking about? We just met for the first time.
No, he didn't.
If he doesn't remember what happened, then maybe it's best to keep it that way. Yes, he didn't approve of us last time, did he? If we're going to save our beloved, we'll have to be sneaky about it.
So you're a new voice. Pleasure to meet you, Smitten.
Our beloved?
I mean, we did kind of approach me like we're gonna save her instead of like that. We just died heroically. So, I mean, we could have a smitten belovedness about it.
Yes, you'll have to be very sneaky about your intentions if you're going to try and save the princess. Ah, so all of the cards are on the table. Then you should know that we and the princess are in love, and the four of us will be foiling any and all assassination attempts you've got in the works.
We're in a polycule now?
We'll see about that. Whatever you do, just be sure to ignore him specifically. Sounds like he's the sort who'd sacrifice the whole world for a peck on the cheek.
I mean, I know a couple of people, like one guy specifically who literally destroyed the world for a kiss. So you know, it's not that unsurprising that people like him exist.
What can I say? A world without love is a world that isn't worth saving.
You and I are gonna be best friends, my dude. Yeah, let's assume I'm telling the truth, and all this really did already happen. Why should I listen to you?
Those are two very different questions, but fine, I'll indulge you if that's what it takes to get you moving. Let's say for a moment that this really is the second time you've met me, or at least a version of me.
Okay.
You died last time, which probably only happened because you didn't listen to me.
I mean, it kind of happened because you were an asshole and decided to really just try and, like, skew the narrative to actually just slaying the princess.
You were the one who did us in, villain.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Well, not you in the literal sense, but you did everything you could to stop us from rescuing her. Oh, I wonder why. Maybe it's because the entire world was at stake. No lone princess is worth that price.
But you're insinuating that you're insinuating that the princess alone, her existence would kill the world should she step out of the cabin. It's like, okay, if she stepped out of the cabin and the world doesn't end, are you the idiot amongst us here? Or, like, are you just lying to us for the sake of lying?
I beg to differ. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just going to take a deep breath and assume that whoever is making the decisions here has the common sense to ignore your protestations.
But see, I'm not going to ignore them. I'm just going to take it into consideration, being that you've literally given me no reason to trust you.
Anyway, I believe your second question was, what's the point of doing anything? If you're asking that, it sounds to me like you're making the rather dangerous assumption that your actions last time around didn't have any consequences. What do you mean? Of course there weren't any consequences. You forced the princess to kill us, and now everyone's right back where they started. That sounds pretty consequence-free to me. Yes, but in this purely hypothetical scenario, that begs the question of how you got back here. Did time simply rewind itself, or were you instead transported to a different world entirely?
Now that is quite an interesting little conundrum that I do have to think about. Like, why are we starting at the beginning of the story again? Like, are we restarting the chapter? Because it does clearly say that this is chapter 2, and yet we're starting with the direct replicated narrative of you are in the forest, heading to the cabin, you must slay the princess. It's literally the same thing as the first chapter. Is this a continuation, or is this a reversal of time? That is quite an interesting conundrum. Does that mean our actions did have some sort of lasting consequence? I mean, that could already be proven by the fact that the voice of the Spitten is here. We have a lasting consequences. We have a lasting consequence. So there will be things changed here, but, like, is this a cycle? Is this a loop? Is this a reversal? Is this a continuation? That's the question.
If it's the latter, what do you think happened after you died?
We were resurrected, and now we have to try it because you are some sort of malevolent being who wants us to slay the princess and will not stop until we slay the princess?
Do you think the people there lived happily ever after? Or do you think that the princess, left unhindered, brought about the end to everyone and everything, just like I told you she would?
Well, I won't know because I wasn't there.
She would never. She's a perfect angel that you cruelly imprisoned as part of some convoluted, dastardly scheme. Convoluted? I don't know how this premise could be any more simple. Princess bad, stop her, save everyone.
Okay, simple in your eyes 100%, but I'm pretty sure everyone in chat could agree with me. Why princess bad? Give me you need to answer the question, why princess bad? You can't just say princess bad, you have to answer the question of why princess bad. Stop her, sure, but why stop her? If we cannot answer the question of why princess bad, then we cannot answer the question of why stop her, and thus save everyone. Why save everyone? If we cannot answer the question of why princess bad, we can't answer the question of why stop her, and we can't answer the question of why save everyone. Hello, why door lock? Why you asshole? Things like that. You know what, let's talk about it. If you hate her so much, you should be able to give me details.
Just be quick about it.
Okay. The only reason she was even able to kill me last time is because I let her. She could barely hold a knife. How is she supposed to end the world? Who locked her in the basement? Yeah, doesn't even matter like how competent or incompetent she is. Who locked her in there?
People locked her in that basement, and I told you what this place is. It's a path in the woods. Don't overcomplicate things.
But people? Yeah, if people locked her away, why couldn't they slay her? Why is it falling on me?
Look, I'm not supposed to say this, but it's because you're special. You're the only person capable of doing this. Call it a prophecy, if that helps. But it's just the way things are.
That doesn't make any sense. Why man, door, hand, hook, car, door, why man, door, hand, hook, car, door? It's like, but call it a prophecy, so it's not a prophecy. If you are more confident in saying that it's the prophecy that I'm the one who's supposed to slay the princess, then perhaps you should lie through your teeth and say that it is the prophecy that I'm the only one who's supposed to be there. You're not helping. You're not helping.
Oh. I didn't know we were special.
Hero, don't start.
Of course you're special. Why else would you be here?
Because the narration demanded that we should be here? Just because heroes are made does not make them special. There are plenty of bland, unspecial heroes in the world. Special does not make us any sort of, like, special is not congruent with actually being in existence. So, exactly. No, don't use the word special. Heroes are not special. Heroes are just put into positions to where they can change the narrative.
Calling us special isn't going to make us friends, even if it did feel nice.
Thank you.
Oh, believe me, the last thing I want is for you and I to be friends. But I'm a professional, and I'm not going to let my dislike for you get in the way of helping you save the world.
Oh, now you dislike me, so that gives me even more of a reason not to trust you. It's like, what aren't you telling me?
I've told you everything you need to know. Going into more detail would just overcomplicate an otherwise very simple situation and make your job more difficult.
Really?
Not to sound like a broken record, but the less you know about her, the better things will go for all of us. I know it sounds like I'm hiding something, but you're just going to have to take me at my word.
You know, you've already shown that you have a dislike for me. I don't know why you dislike me, and that's more context that I would need. And thus, because you already dislike me, I can already assume that you are the villain of this story, being that you are trying to force a situation to which you are forcing the person you dislike to commit an act of murder against another living being. And you don't think I'm not going to listen to you? Yeah, like the only reason she was able to kill me last time was because I let her.
She just can. Believe me, I wish I could tell you more, but you'll just have to trust that what I'm saying is true, and that, despite it all, you're fully up to the task that's been given to you. Maybe it's her beauty that threatens the world.
You know, if only it were that, where she was just that beautiful, that all the goddesses and gods of beauty are just so wildly infatuated with her that they would come and try and impregnate her through the world and force everyone to have beautiful babies, and thus creating an overpopulation of demigods which would destroy the world. Maybe that could be the case, but at least that's an explanation rather than you just have to kill her. It's like, really? Sorry, drinking some liquids.
Sure, it's her beauty. Why not? And before you ask, no, we can't just keep her down there. If you don't slay her, she's going to find a way out. It's unfortunate, I know, but it's just the way it is. And the fact that you're just like, sure, it's her beauty, like, you're not helping the case! You're not giving a why! And that's such a cop-out! Bro! Whatever. Great. Now, if you don't mind, the whole world is waiting with bated breath for you to save it from ruin. Yeah, I'm with them. Fuck you. That's right, you can't stop all of us. We're going to sweep her off her feet if it's the last thing anyone does. Are these really the sorts of people you'd like to align yourself with? Yes! You're not at the cabin yet. You still have plenty of time to reflect on the situation. I just hope for all our sakes that you make the right call. I've never seen anyone play this get salty about narrator. Here's the thing, I'm a writer. I am a writer. I technically am a narrator in a sense because I also help craft and bring about stories.
Like, that's my job. Like, that I've done that for multiple years now since I graduated from college. Narration is my life. The fact that this narrator is being so vague and being so just misaligned in trying to convince me to do the job he wants me to do already shows me that no, in no reality would I ever or would anyone trust the narrator. So it's just kind of like, the fact that it's illogical for me to look at him and be like, dude, if you want me to kill the princess that fucking badly, give me a better narration. Give me a better reason. You can't just be like, oh, the less you know, the more, the better it is, and blah, 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 blah. Anyone with an IQ of a monkey could lock in and just be like, okay, why am I killing this princess? And is like, okay, no, I'm not gonna tell you. Then why would I do it? That's just common sense. Anyone who's just like, okay, I'll just do what you say, just like, you're just stupid. You are clearly just stupid. It's literally source. Dude, trust me. It's like, what actual person would just be like, I'm just gonna listen to what the narrator says without actually thinking about the consequences and the context of why I'm doing the thing the narrator is telling me to do? It's not like it's BioShock where it's the very clearly heavy of would you kindly. Yeah, it's not like a would you kindly situation where we think we have the sense of purpose, where the would you kindly is the suggestive narrative of being kind in the suggestion of a request to which it hides the masking of that we don't have a choice. But this narrator doesn't even do the would you kindly sort of masking agreement of trying to persuade us to actually kill this princess. She's literally saying, you must kill the princess. Why? You just have to kill the princess. Why? Then why would I do it? I don't know, you just have to kill the princess. Give us a reason. Just give us a reason. It's not, and I say this as someone who knows people who lie out their asshole. It's not that hard to lie. It's not. Just say, oh, she is the daughter of an evil queen who is staked upon revenge and has placed a curse upon her body to which, if she steps foot outside of this cabin, she will literally cause an apocalypse. Well, that seems like a reasonable idea to me. That seems like a reasonable thing. Sure, that might be a reason to kill her. If she literally steps foot out of the cabin, she causes an apocalypse. Sure, but like, the world will end. Okay, how? How will the world end? Will the world end with her being the most beautiful person in the world where everyone just wants to impregnate her and just cause a surge of overpopulation? Well then no, we just make sure like we use makeup and unbeautify her and just walk away like, okay, she's not as pretty as she was in the cabin, but at least like Aphrodite and every god of sex wants to try and fuck her. Like, give us more than just you have to kill her or the world will end. Okay, how does the world end? Come on! Come on! Seriously! Narrator versus narrator here. We're going fisticuffs, narrator. Fisticuffs right here. Fisticuffs. Come on. Come on. Let's go.
A warning before you go any further.
What?
She will lie, she will cheat, and she will do everything in her power to stop you from slaying her. Don't believe a word she says.
Hilarious that you even say that! The last time I saw the princess, she was just very nice and be like, hi, hello, could you get me out of these chains? And I'm just gonna like, let me go see if I could go to the upstairs and see if there's a key. I tried to go up the stairs, there was no key. And it's like, she didn't have to convince me of shit. She barely did anything to begin with. She's just like, I'm just gonna try and escape because I'm desperate and we're both locked in this cabin. Oh God, what do I do? I'm just gonna gnaw my way out. And when the knife appears, like, that's an option. Oh God! Like, she didn't barely do anything when we saw her. This narrator, I'm gonna fisticuffs him. Let's go.
We already told you we're not playing along with your little game. It's your lies that can't be trusted. Her beauty is the only thing in the world we can believe in.
Sure.
I think we've already been over this. I'm pretty sure he just likes the sound of his own voice.
You know, a lot of narrators do. A lot of narrators just like to just ramble on soapboxes, trying to justify why our position is right. But at least some narrators me can actually give some sort of justification and logic as to why we need the story to go the way it needs to go. Just saying. Narrators love to hear the sound of our own voices. It's even if we don't love hearing it just in a love sense, we just know that we can talk.
I do, but I also speak from the heart. My passions are too great to be stifled. They must be expressed.
Sure, yeah, your passions are strong and all, but not everyone needs to hear them. Some things are better kept quiet.
You know, let the boy be happy. Let the boy be happy.
Don't pay their bickering any mind. Focus on the task ahead.
Whatever, we're going in. Come on. Jesus Christ. Huh?
The interior of the cabin is clean and elegant, its stone walls draped in fine threaded tapestries, a prison befitting a royal prisoner. The only furniture of note is an ornate wooden table with a pristine blade perched on its edge.
What if we change the story and make the second narrator become mad? Like, would the chapters of the narrator become... I'm not sure.
The blade is your implement. You'll need it if you want to do this right.
No, I don't. Yeah, actually, straight up, why is the mirror not having that parallax effect? Hold on.
You walk up to the wall next to the basement door. It's a wall. There isn't much to see here.
Wait, you don't... Wait. Narrator, you don't see the mirror? Even though that was an option to go up to a mirror, and yet you recognize we're going up to a wall, not a mirror? You're off to the Canadian too. Pff, this guy's an amateur.
What are you talking about? This isn't a wall. It's a mirror. Or at least it'll be a mirror once we wipe off that layer of grime.
Yeah.
You reach forward and rub your hand against the cabin wall. I hope you know how ridiculous you look right now.
Whoa, where'd the mirror go?
But there was a mirror a second ago.
Hero, yeah, you and I are in the same boat.
And now it's gone. Pity. We could have a feather out of place, and now we'll never know. We can't gallantly sweep her off her feet if we have a feather out of place.
Yeah, this cabin's a little different. The outside was made of wood, now we bring of stone. Ignoring the fact that the mirror that was there like a second ago disappeared.
Very different.
Is it? I can't say I was paying much attention to the scenery last time around.
Honey, that's because you're madly Twitter-pated over a princess that you barely ever met.
Maybe that's because you haven't actually been here. I hope this means you'll finally drop that ridiculous past life nonsense. You haven't died, and you certainly haven't been killed by the princess.
So you say.
So focus up. Stop letting yourself get distracted.
We're just gonna end. Hello?
The door to the basement creaks open, revealing an intricate stairwell. Gold-trimmed carpet glimmers in the light of the torches positioned along the walls. The basement almost seems welcoming in the dim firelight, but it's still a stone basement. If the princess lives here, slaying her is probably doing her a favor. A soft voice carries up the stairs.
Hello? Is someone there?
Her voice. It's somehow even more beautiful than last time. I can hear wedding bells already.
I can tell that there's I can tell that there is a little bit of a change in the vocal tone.
I've held my tongue till now, but you're taking this a little too far. We barely even know the princess. We can still do right by her without all this over-the-top fawning. Yes, for everyone's sake, you're not in love. Just remember that her charms are all part of the manipulation. You walk down the stairs and lock eyes with the princess. There's a heavy chain around her wrist, binding her to the far wall.
Sorry, liquids.
My love, we're here to rescue you from your unjust and foul imprisonment.
You better not have said that out loud with my voice, my dude.
You know she can't hear you, right?
Bless the fact that he cannot hear. That she cannot hear him.
She may not be able to hear my words, but surely she can hear my spirit.
Yeah, she's definitely changed. Like, you can tell that her posture's a little better, her hair is a little more decked out, her crown might be a little different, her dress is flared out, more princess-like.
Oh, your spirit's plenty loud, all right.
It's you, my dashing hero. I was so worried you wouldn't come back.
Did you hear that? She said we're dashing.
Because she's met us before.
And she called us a hero.
She knows us. Does she recognize the past? Does she recognize the past attempt?
Flattery really goes a long way with the two of you, doesn't it? Waiting for you to come back. I didn't want to believe your ravings back in the woods, but this is next to incontrovertible evidence. You've been here before.
Exactly, that's what I thought. I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, she said back. Does she recognize the past attempt?
That's right, villain. And you killed us. Well, she killed us. Only because he made us try and kill her. It was self-defense. Our beloved's hands remain unstained by cruelty.
And you've died before. So an entire world has been damned to oblivion. I'd really hoped I'd be the first, but what's done is done. What matters is you have a chance to do it right this time.
Now, hold on. If she actually ended a world, are you sure we want to do this? Are you sure we want to rescue her?
Here's the thing. I'm wondering if... Okay. Theory out. What if a chapter is a world? If, again, we're talking about a storytelling narrative, what if a chapter is a world? If she did technically end the world, the last chapter ended. What if just a chapter is a world? A story is a world. So yeah, I'm right. My theory of the fact that he doesn't want a story to end. That puts into question, what would happen if we did kill her? Would our story just continue? Would the world not end because we have a story to continue forward with? It's like... Intriguing.
We never saw a world end, and now I'm even more certain that we must chase our heroic and romantic destiny than I've ever been. I shan't let anyone convince us otherwise.
Indeed.
Are you listening to him? He's lost it. Don't let him distract you. Just do your
No,
job.
shh. I know what my job is. Shut up. I did, let's see. I'm sorry about what happened last time. The narrator who sent me to kill you took over my body. It was extremely... Yeah, you know, I'm so sorry, dude.
If another version of me was pushed to such drastic action, it was for good reason.
No! You give me the reason and then maybe I'll believe you.
That's okay. You were just doing your best, and that's all that matters.
She took that in stride. To a surprising extent. An almost unsettling extent, actually.
It's a little unsettling, but
That's because she's perfect.
to your eyes, 100%.
Do you think she has someone like him telling her what to do?
No. I don't think so. Narrators typically only talk to the hero and the reader. Very rarely does the narrator kind of influence beyond one person. Even in, like, this is kind of going into the backstory of, like, how I created muses in, like, the Seduce Me world. Muses, aka narrators of the Seduce Me universe, can only control one person. That would be way too powerful if they could control literally everyone. Muses could only influence and try to speak and talk and sway one individual. Because to do more than that would just make you not a narrator, but a god. And it's an overpowered ability. So the understanding of narrators only being able to talk to one entity, or at least try to influence one entity, it's like... it would be too unrealistic. So I don't think there's a narrator that's speaking to her, but I'm wondering if the actions we're deciding to make with the storyline is what's influencing her personality. Because we kind of walked in being like, we're just gonna help you. Like, there's no reason not to help you. And now she's being nonchalant of just being like, oh, you're doing your best, it's fine. It's the same nonchalantness that we walked in with, and so our entry into this cabin is what's influencing her reflectiveness of us. So I'm wondering if that's the case. We walked in nonchalant, now she's being nonchalant.
She doesn't. There's no one else like me.
Totally.
I think he's right, because I like it better if she doesn't have some horrid little voice like him, always trying to drive her to violence.
Yeah, Fantasy Food Beginner's Guide. Yeah, literally, the Beginner's Guide is you play the antagonist. Yeah, I didn't bring a knife.
I'm okay with whatever you come up with. You can cut my arm off again.
I don't want to do that.
We won't be laying a finger on her perfect wrists, and indeed, we won't even have to. Do you see how dainty her hands are? We'll be able to slip her right out with no harm done.
Why doesn't she slip herself?
What? No, she's a prisoner here. You can't just slip her hand through the chains. Why are you two arguing over the logistics of slipping her hand out of her shackles? She just said she'd be okay with any idea we came up with. Am I the only one here who thinks that's weird?
She didn't care last time. Why should she care this time? That's our stoic, smiling angel.
No, you're right. It's extremely bizarre behaviour and further evidence that she's a monster who's not to be trusted. So go ahead and slay her.
But that's not evidence to what she was previously. Being the fact that you were already proven wrong that we've already met her, I think she's more of a reflection of the choice we made last time. So, what happened after I died?
You died, and now we're talking.
But before we started talking, did you end the world? Did the world end?
I don't know. Was I supposed to have ended the world? Would that have made you happy?
No, not necessarily.
Isn't that just like our darling princess? She wants to make us happy. My heart melts further with every word that passes through her beautiful lips.
Are you listening to her? That's a confession.
That's more of just her trying to appease us. A lot of her answers to us have been more of the appeasing side. It's nonchalant appeasing, like, oh, honey, darling, what can I do for you? That way I can make you happy. Sure, it can be a damsel, like, the chapter is literally called The Damsel, so it makes sense that this is the damsel trying to be, like, the innocent princess type that is just, like, very amicable to whatever we say. So it's like, it's not a confession. I think it's a genuine, did you want me to do that? Because I can if that makes you happy. I don't want the world to end.
Then I didn't end the world.
See? She didn't confess anything. She is innocence itself.
Not so sure.
I don't think she has any idea how that could have been. So, let's just rescue her.
No. I can't let you do that. If you take another step towards the princess, I'll...
What? You'll lock the
Take
door?
over our body and force us to try and kill her?
Right? Like, what? You gonna lock the door again, make a knife appear again, and we do the same dance over and over again?
I would if you had a weapon.
Not on my watch, villain. My passions contain titanic depths, and if you try anything that might harm our dearest, I will end our life without a second thought.
Okay, we do not have to resort to suicide, my dude.
You wouldn't.
I would.
Dude, we do not have to resort to Romeo and Juliet here, thank you very much.
I'd listen to him if I were you. He has a lot of strong feelings. And doesn't the world end if we don't stop her? You approach the princess and gingerly slide her hand from her bindings. That shouldn't have worked. I'll be damned. We're doomed.
Huh. So even the narrator doesn't know what's being written. The narrator is not an actual narrator. Huh. The narrator is unable to fully control the narration. Huh. That's quite intriguing. Because if the narrator truly did have some sort of existential power, he would have been able to stop us. It's so easy to write into narration. Huh. Interessante. Okay, good to know.
I can't believe it. But I guess I have to.
I told you. There's no life more worth living than that of a true believer.
I'm free, and you're not trying to kill me this time. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I mean, it was an accident that we weren't actually trying to kill you, sweetheart.
The princess jumps up and smothers you in a joyful embrace. Ugh. If only you had a weapon, one slip of the wrist and your pristine blade would be buried in her back and everyone out there would be saved.
From what?
Luckily for Mr. Romance, we don't have a weapon.
Who needs a weapon when we have the power of love on our side?
What do we do now?
What would you like to do? Yeah, that's a better question. What would you like to do?
Let me guess. End the world?
Spoken with the rank cynicism of someone who has never felt love in his heart.
Okay, you're now starting to become those people that just can be like, oh, voice of the smitten, I appreciate the love that you have for this princess you've barely just met. But you are literally starting to sound like, oh, your opinion will change when you want to have kids. You'll want to have kids. You'll change your mind. You're starting to become that kind of preachy.
I don't actually know. Nobody's ever asked me what I wanted before.
Well, that's fair. This is the first time.
She doesn't even know what she wants. You may have had her all wrong. What if this whole thing is just a misunderstanding? What if she doesn't want to end the world? You're so gullible. Is the only thing you've ever doubted the actual truth?
Well, the fact that the actual truth has not been laid out in full to me already kind of answered that question.
I think I want to leave. And I think...
The princess closes her eyes in deep reflection. And then she shrugs.
I don't know. What do you want to do?
If you want to leave, then let's leave. We'll figure it out when we leave. If you walk outside and you want to smell the flowers, then let's go smell the flowers. We could take it one step at a time.
That sounds perfect.
The princess takes your hand, the last hopes of the entire world slipping through your fingers as they intertwine with hers.
We have each other. We don't need the world for our happy ending.
I like to think that you do, actually. Look, I have my doubts, but the choice has been made and this is happening. You don't have to mope about it. I will mope about it, because moping is the only recourse you love-blind fools have left me with.
What? The fact that there could be just a fantastical, unabashed happily ever after?
You and the princess walk up the stairs, hand in hand. Ugh, look at the way she's smiling at you. She doesn't have to be so happy about this.
I mean, I would be happy too if I was like locked in a dungeon and then freed with some handsome, dashing hero that actually understood that, hey, listening to me is kind of an idea. What would you like to do? I'd like to leave. Okay, if you'd like to leave, let's leave.
And what happens after we walk up the stairs? Let's see. Oh, isn't that interesting? The door slams in your face and the lock clicks.
Really, narrator? Truly?
That's a familiar move. Did I do that last time? Then you should know that you won't be able to leave.
Oh no! Did someone lock us in here? That's not fair. We're supposed to leave now.
She's right. It isn't fair. But the unfairnesses of the world are no match for the strength of true love.
Enough with this true love nonsense. You just met her.
There have been stories that literally have just love at first sight and they want to get married within 15 seconds after they met. Like, it's not an unsensical thing where you're just kind of like, they just met, sure, but okay, they fell in love. Who fucking cares?
Of course you wouldn't understand. Our passions run deeper than anything you have ever known.
Are you listening to this? You don't have to go along with the every whim of that delusional voice.
Nor do I have to go through every whim of yours, my dude.
I'm just along for the ride at this point.
Thank you, hero. I think I got this. Well, do you think you can open it?
Well, I don't know. Do you think I can?
Of course she can. You believe in her, right?
Nobody is leaving this basement.
Nah, I think you got this. Give it a shot.
Okay, let me try.
The princess tries the handle. And... the lock clicks, and the door creaks open. Are you kidding me?
You know, sometimes it's just believing in someone else.
I told you she could do it.
You and the princess make your way upstairs And the blade. That's right. There's still a chance for you to do the right thing. Take the blade from the table and slay her before it's too late.
No! No, I'm not doing it.
You're enjoying this, aren't you? You're taking every opportunity you can to draw out the end of the world and make me suffer. I hate you.
You've already proven your dislike for me at the very beginning, so why should I give any sort of positive feeling to you, my dude?
That's the way out. We're going to leave together, just like you wanted.
Come on.
Yes, I suppose you are going to do that, aren't you? You cross the room, opening the door to the cabin, and then you step outside.
Look, see? Oh no, the world is not falling apart. The sky isn't falling. The birds are still chirping. The trees are still fine. Everything's okay.
A happy ending at last.
We did it. What should we do now?
Well, what would you like to do?
Where did everything go?
Interesting.
Where did he go?
Huh.
Oh, is he gone? I hadn't noticed. I was too busy staring deep into our beloved's eyes.
I'm cold. Is being happy supposed to be so cold?
Honey, are you okay?
She's cold. Quick, our feathers. Pluck them all and weave her a coat worthy of a princess.
Dude, we're not plucking feathers right now. What the? What? But you don't get the chance to make that jacket. Something has taken her away, and it's left something else in her place.
She's gone. Where did she go? Should we try and find her?
No, there's something else at work here. Something beyond the narrator. Yeah, something beyond the narrator and something beyond, complications.
And is that a mirror? Why is it here? Why now?
I think we're supposed to go look in the mirror.
There's something dreadful about it. I don't think you should.
Yes, I fear that we won't like what we'll see. What if we just sit here and preen for a while? That can't hurt, right?
No, honey. We don't know where she went.
You're right. She's gone. It's just us and that awful thing.
I can't believe she was taken away from us.
The nerve.
Let's just face it, whatever the heck this is.
I'm begging you, don't do this.
Why? Are you going to be a problem now? Hero, seriously, are you going to be a problem now? Come on. You approach the mirror. You gaze into your reflection. Silence as you reach forward. They're gone. But the mirror remains. It's time for you to see what is in it. It's you. You are alone in a place that is empty. It is quiet here. You are at the cabin. Is that the princess? Approach her.
Something finds me in the long quiet and brings me the gift of a fragile vessel.
Hi. A vessel? Hold on. The gift of a fragile vessel. Are you some sort of... What are you? What are you?
I am solitary lights in an empty city. What are you?
What do you mean?
Thoughts without connections. A dim and nascent network. I wish to be more.
What do you think I am?
I think that you are like me. We are oceans, reduced to shallow creeks.
Oceans reduced to shallow creeks. Comparisons. You're some sort of omnipotent beings, reduced to fairy tale characters? Is that what you're insinuating? That you're like gods? Being forced into this storyline? I mean, if we can really think about it like nowadays, a lot of gods are being forced into just stories like Hades Town, fucking Epic, every single movie that deals with the deities, Dungeons and Dragons, like, it's deities being reduced to just stories, being reduced to just fictitious characters that we can utilize and abuse however we want. Is that the insinuation here? That if you believe I am like you, then are we gods being forced into a fictitious story? You are aware of who you are. The gift of fragile vessel. Let's continue. The gift of a fragile vessel?
Yes. Nerves and fibers to feel the worlds beyond. Perspectives to make my own. This one is soft and delicate. You molded her to love you, and she'll make for a gentle heart.
Okay.
Do not mourn her. She has served her purpose.
My question to you then is this what the end of the world that the narrator was fearful of?
How can the world have ended if we are talking?
Assuming that this is the world that was never meant to end, or if we have ended a world to which our fictitious forms were supposed to reside. Question, do you know the narrator?
You are the only thing I have ever known. The space we're in is vacant. Nothing comes here but us.
I don't think you're the one who trapped me. Makes no sense if I'm handing you things, while the narrator is trying to avoid this. I think, does the narrator know about you? Is that why the narrator is trying to stop you from receiving vessels? But why would you need vessels? And why would you need more than one? Technically, would this be the end of the game where you have a vessel? Or... I have a lot of questions. I have way too many questions. Do you might know about the worlds beyond this place?
I know only that they are.
Okay. Well, are you the princess?
She is part of me, and part of me is her.
Okay. So you are a whole being, while the princesses we've been meeting are fragments of you. Okay. Were you always the princess, or are you making her a part of yourself?
You speak in circles. Does it matter where one thing begins and another ends?
Perhaps not. Do we know each other?
You are familiar, but you are not me. I feel sadness, longing, hope as I witness you.
Is that why I'm playing a hero to a princess? As gods, were we like lovers and this is like some sort of practical punishment by some narrator or some being where the narrator works for in that kind of regard? Alright, what happens now? No point in attacking you.
As we are, but I know that there are worlds beyond us, and that we are meant to reach them. There is no exit, but this vessel is a creature of perception, She can make you forget, if only you believe her to be able to. Bring me more perspectives so that I may be whole, and perhaps then we will know our freedom.
Ah, okay. So the goal is to be able to give this entity a presence. This entity right now is just kind of like a shapeless void. And the reason why she needs multiple vessels is because these vessels are perspectives. Are basically parts and angles of her entity. Okay. Okay. Alright. How much will I forget?
Everything, until we meet again.
Okay. How many more pieces of you do I have to find?
More than you have found, but less than there are to find. I am infinite. The rest will find their own way home.
Okay. I was sent to slay the princess to stop her from destroying the world. If I help you, is that what you're going to do?
You ask of things that cannot be done. To destroy is merely to reshape, to remold.
I don't think this is the time to ask. I'm wondering if, with better perspective, she'll be able to give me clearer answers. Aren't you scared that I'll find a way to kill you?
I have not lived. I am not afraid to die.
Okay. Then I guess we're going back in and trying to find another perspective for you.
She asks that I tell you to remember her.
Of course. Of course I will.
You won't.
Everything goes dark. And you die.